All right, let's talk about something that we all rely on every single day: digital services that just work. We're going on a quest to figure out what it really takes to build cloud services that are practically unbreakable, even when things get crazy. I mean, just picture it. It's Black Friday. An online store is getting slammed with millions of people all trying to buy something at the exact same second. How on earth does a website not just completely fall apart under that kind of pressure? It's a huge question, and for businesses, the stakes couldn't be higher. Well, the secret sauce, the answer to that question, is something called operational excellence. And no, that's not just some corporate buzzword. It's a real discipline. It's all about building your systems to deliver uninterrupted service no matter what you throw at them. It's about being robust, resilient, and ready for absolutely anything.
So, how do you get there? Where does this quest for reliability even begin? Well, our first stop explores the real heart of the challenge, and you might be surprised to hear it's all about people.
You see, in the tech world, there's this classic tug of war. On one side, you have the developers. Their job, their whole mission is speed. They're pushed to get new features and fixes out the door as fast as humanly possible. But on the other side, you've got the operators. Their goal is the complete opposite: stability. They need to keep the lights on and make sure nothing breaks. And yeah, those two goals can really clash. So how do you solve that? Well, the answer is a huge cultural shift called DevOps. The whole idea here is to just tear down the wall between these two teams. Instead of developers just throwing code over a fence to the operators, everyone shares the responsibility for both speed and stability. It's a we're all in this together mindset. And if DevOps is the philosophy, the why, then Site Reliability Engineering, or SRE, is the practical, hands-on, how-to guide. SRE is what happens when you treat operations like a software problem. It's the engineering discipline that actually lets you design, build, and run these incredibly reliable systems we're talking about. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But you can't improve what you don't measure. So let's get into our next section and see how SRE actually puts numbers behind the idea of reliability.
SRE is all about data, and it really starts with this number: 4. There are 4 golden signals that, together, give you a super clear picture of your system's health. If you're watching these 4 things, you're looking at what truly matters.
So, signal number 1 is latency. This is basically how long a user has to wait. We've all been there, right? Staring at that little spinning wheel, waiting for a page to load. That delay, that's latency. And it has a massive, direct impact on whether a user has a good experience or a frustrating one. Next up, traffic. This one's pretty simple. It's how much demand is on your system. How many requests are you getting per second? Think of it like cars on a highway. Knowing your traffic patterns is absolutely crucial for planning ahead and making sure you have enough lanes open to handle the rush hour. Signal 3 is saturation. This is one of my favorites. Think of it like the fuel gauge in your car. It tells you how full your most critical resources are, like your memory or your CPU. Saturation is your early warning system. It screams at you that you're about to run out of gas before you end up stranded on the side of the road. And finally, signal number 4, errors. This one is the most obvious sign that something's wrong. It's the rate of requests that are just failing. An error page, a broken link, a failed transaction. It's a direct signal that something somewhere is broken and needs to be fixed. So you're measuring all these signals. Now what? Well, you turn those measurements into promises. It's a 3-step ladder. At the bottom, you have your SLI, the service level indicator. That's just the raw number, the fact. For example, our uptime was 99.95% last month. Then you set an SLO, a service level objective. This is your internal goal. It's your team saying, we are committed to hitting 99.9% uptime. And finally, if you make that goal a public promise to your customers, usually with penalties if you fail, it becomes an SLA, a service level agreement. The speedometer in your car, that's your SLI. Your personal goal to stay under the speed limit, that's your SLO. The actual law with a speeding ticket, that's the SLA. Okay, so we know how to measure reliability. Now for the really fun part. How do you actually build a system that can hit those ambitious goals? Let's talk about building it right from the ground up. Building a resilient system is like building a fortress. First, redundancy. You have no single points of failure. If one component breaks, a duplicate one instantly takes its place. Then, replication. You make multiple copies of your data, so if one server goes down, your data is still safe. Taking it a step further, you use multi-region distribution. This protects you even if an entire data center or geographic region has an outage. Scalability is your secret weapon for handling those massive traffic spikes. The system automatically adds more power when it needs it. And finally, you have backups, your ultimate insurance policy. Secure, separate copies of everything just in case of a catastrophe. All of these work together to create a system that's truly designed to survive failure. So you've built this incredible, resilient system, but it's running in the cloud, in these massive remote data centers. How in the world do you actually see what's going on inside it? Right? That's the challenge. You can't just walk into a server room anymore and check on a blinking light. It's all virtual, so you need a different way to get visibility. And the answer to that is a concept called observability. And a platform like Google Cloud gives you a whole suite of tools for exactly this. Think of it like a doctor's bag for your cloud. Cloud monitoring is your stethoscope for a high-level health check. Cloud logging is like getting the full lab results, letting you dive deep into every single event. Cloud Trace is the magnifying glass for hunting down those tricky slowdowns. Profiler helps you optimize performance, and error reporting is like the emergency room, instantly telling you what crashed and why. Together, they give you the eyes and ears you need to understand what's really happening. But let's be honest. Even with the best design, the best culture, and the best tools, things can still go wrong. And when they do, you're going to need a lifeline. And that lifeline is support. Having a plan for getting expert help is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Cloud providers know this, which is why they offer different tiers. You might have basic support for free, which is great for getting started. But for your really important mission-critical systems, you can get premium plans that give you 24/7 access to top-tier engineers and even a dedicated person who knows your system inside and out. And it helps to know how it works. When you hit the panic button, you create a case and set its priority, like, is this the whole site is down emergency? The support team then triages it to figure out how bad it is. An engineer starts investigating the root cause. They work with you on a fix or a workaround, and then, only when you confirm everything is okay, is the case closed. It's a clear, structured process designed to get you back on your feet. So, if there is one single thing to take away from all of this, it's this quote right here. Reliability doesn't just happen by accident. You don't get lucky. It is the direct result of intentional design, obsessive measurement, and a culture that is always, always trying to improve. And that leaves us with one final thought. Think about all the digital services you interact with every day, the apps on your phone, the tools you use for work. How reliable is your world? And after everything we've talked about today, what do you think it would take to make it truly unbreakable? Thanks for joining me.